Hello everyone, Krydax here. Welcome back to our space exploration playthrough. Today we are hopefully going to be getting towards logistic spots, potentially nuclear power. We may only get halfway to one of those things. You never know how long these things take. But between episodes, I've done a few things. I have redone the whole module or processing unit setup. I didn't like how it was set up because I wasn't able to make the beacons different for each type of object, though I kind of ended up using the same setup for most of them. But I also needed a lot more throughput, and so I've redone the setup in such a way that we have a potential for 1 processing unit per second with full productivity 3 modules in those. And you can also see that I set up my module level 3s. Again, not a very interesting setup. I just bussed over batteries, and for batteries I did bus over some iron and copper so that I don't have to hand feed them. And then I just bust the batteries over, and then I was using the same processing unit line and batteries and the other modules to make module 3s. So nothing too interesting there. And then I spent a lot of time just running around the base, changing modules and buildings, adding some beacons here and there, and really just a lot of time waiting for module 3s because it's been a long time since I've actually played through vanilla, and I forgot just how expensive module 3s are. Because module 2s, you can see here, they require 62 copper and 1 processing unit, and 1 processing unit is 40 copper, along with some other things. And so that alone is a little over 100 copper, and then a speed module 3 requires 180 copper and 8 processing units, which is 320 copper. So 500 copper plus, what is that? Something like 70 plastic per module 3. So I just forgot, I think, how expensive those were, and I kind of was like, wow, these are taking a long time. And then I realized, well, yeah, I mean, if I'm only utilizing 10 or 20 copper per second, it's going to take a while for each module 3 to craft. So they're not very fast, but we do have them automated. And I've got the limit set to 50 of each. I might change that to 100 now that I've kind of got the basic stock under control. I have 50 of each 2 and 3 already in my inventory. So I'm going to bump these limits up to 100 for when I do bigger builds. That way I'll have enough, because they do craft very slowly and use a lot of power. My power is kind of a big issue right now. I added a little bit more even, and we're still at almost full capacity. So I think I might actually do nuclear power first, because solar just seems like a huge hassle right now. Maybe someday we'll do a massive solar build for UPS reasons, but right now I think nuclear is the simplest way to get a few hundred more megawatts going without much hassle. I'm trying to decide if I want to use a train. This uranium feels close enough. I think I'm just going to use a belt, because that's not very far, and I can pretty easily use underground belts to pipe sulfuric acid over. So I will go ahead and do that. First, we need to research all the uranium things. And we want nuclear fuel reprocessing, and we also want Covarex enrichment, which we thankfully have purple science, so we can get that done. So that'll need 1500 purple science, which I think we probably can do. I would actually like to replace all of these with productivity 3. We'll see if I have enough for all of them, because science productivity is pretty helpful. Okay, I don't have enough, of course. Already out of module 3s. And I do have 800 built up. I'm going to change that to... We'll just leave it at the full 1,000. I'll be doing nuclear for a while, so if my power goes a little low, that's fine. I need to take all these. And then my little bots, we'll put those all in. So now we at least have better productivity. We've got 16% more. And we'll leave this on speed 2. I might even slow it down a little bit in favor of using less power. I don't need to research super fast. You can see I redid my blue science so that it's fully productive, and I did the same for my heat shielding and my purple science. So those are the things that are the most expensive. I haven't redone yellow and red science yet just because they're already pretty cheap, so I probably could at least switch the buildings, but I'll deal with that another time. Okay, let's get our modules fixed here. We need to dump all of the extra module 2s. There we go. Okay, and we need to dump these 6. And then I'm trying to think, I am going to need miners, and I'm going to want to put... I could put a single module 3, but it's probably way easier to put 2 module 2s. So if I remember correctly, uranium mines at half the speed. So let's do some figuring out in Helmod here. So we want to filter by ingredient, uranium ore. So we'll be doing ingredient input. So let's say I have 10, or even, I don't know, 5 ore per second. That might even be too much. And then we use our Covarex to process that. Okay, yeah, so it's figured out all the ratios properly for us. And then we would create uranium fuel cells out of that. We need matrix solver, so it figures out how much... Okay. I'm still worried a meteor is going to hit somewhere really important, so I should probably get meteor defense going soon. But here we are. So it kind of does the math on how much of the 238 does it need to leave behind for the fuel and all the things like that. And then, can I put productivity in these? I can. So I probably will want to do that because that'll end up getting me a lot more uranium fuel cells over time. That one seems less important, and I'll want a beacon with probably tons of efficiency because I don't want to use 10 megawatts just to make the fuel. And then this one can also do productivity, which is nice. So that's even more important. So then we get 0.36 fuel cells, 8 gigajoules each. So whatever, about a third of 8 is, I mean, about 3. So if I'm not mistaken, that's 3 gigawatts of power that we could produce per second with just 5 uranium ore. So that seems more than enough. I might even... Gosh, yeah, we're just going to bump this down to 2. 0.15. Yeah, that's about 1 gigawatt of power. So that seems plenty. So for 2, we're only going to need, I think, 8 miners mining with sulfuric acid. So I just need at least 1 stack of these then. And we've already got 24 miners. So now we just need to get sulfuric acid piped over. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually make a tank. And then we are going to have that here. And then what I'll do is I'll use an overflow valve. And what that will do is it will only let sulfuric acid out if this is above 80% full. And so that way the sulfuric acid will go to making this sulfur and my blue circuits first, and then it will go towards mining uranium, which I have more than enough in this one. 56 per second is way more than I'm using right now. And then we'll probably go about 10 of these. Oh, I need to pick up a lot more pipes before I get too far away from the base. And I'll pick up a full stack of, or a full 5 stacks of belts. And then we need pipes. I'll just take all of the undergrounds that they have. And then I'll need to redo this soon because I'd like to do blue belts. So add new nuclear power. So you can see I've messed with our to-do list a little bit here. I'd like to get meteor defense going, I'd like to get blue belts, I'd like to get utility science, and then logistics robots. I also did a little experiment over here with coal liquefaction, just to kind of see what it might look like to turn coal directly into solid fuel. And so I've done that here, and then I'm busing that solid fuel into our power processing, because you can actually process the solid fuel into processed fuel, which ironically makes it have less power, because processed fuel is only 10 megajoules, but it still adds efficiency to how much the solid fuel produces. And this is very efficient. I checked it out in Helmod, and turns out, at least with productivity modules, let's see if I can find the right line here. I think it was this one. Turns out 10 coal can end up being 15 processed fuel. And so that's going from 40 megajoules to like 150 megajoules. So, but it uses, 14 megajoules to do so. So it uses a decent chunk, but it outputs way more than you put in. So if I really wanted to go hard on that setup to get a lot of solid fuel, we could do that. But since I'm going to try nuclear, I don't really need to worry about that. So back to my sulfuric acid, which is up here. And we're going to need a few pumps just to make sure the pressure maintains, though I honestly, considering I'm only going to need a few sulfuric acid per second, that's not very important. If I think it's just one sulfuric acid per uranium, which means we're only going to need 2 sulfuric acid per second. So, not too worried about this being slow. I think I missed one. We'll get it on the way back. Another thing I've gotten used to in some other mod packs is longer underground pipes. These underground pipes are very short compared to some of the ones you can get in other mod packs. But that's fine. We'll make it work. I think there actually are other pipes. Let's see. Pipe. Yeah, there are space pipe to grounds are even shorter. So yeah, it doesn't look like there's any other options except for these long straight pipes, which are just for faster fluid movement, because if it's 15, like I think that means it's 15 sections long, but it only is one pipe, which is a little confusing. But what that means is that it will end up, it'll essentially end up, I need more long. Sorry, I keep getting distracted as I try to finish a sentence. So with the 15 pipes, essentially you could go 150 units of distance, only needing 15 pipes. So that keeps the flow going a lot faster. So we'll get our miners set up. I'll just use this stuff on the edge first. I'll kind of spread them out since I'm going for more comprehensive placement than anything else. And then that, and or let's see. Yeah, I want to make sure I'm getting every piece here. Because even these alone get me 2.6. Oh, and you can see it uses less sulfuric acid because I have the mining productivity already at 30%. So we'll just add a couple more just in case. It's not gonna hurt us. And we will put a single productivity because, I mean, I don't really know if that's necessary. 2 million uranium should last me for probably until the end of time. So maybe I'll just, what if I do this? Yeah, we'll do it that way. Because then we'll save some power, get a little bit more free uranium, because why not? Not that I need it. And then we will need to hook up all of the pipes. We'll do this. And then these can just hook up with each other. We'll do that one there. Okay, so these have uranium, or I mean sulfuric acid. These all have sulfuric acid. We need to hook up these two. These four are all connected. Okay, there we go. So I think that's everything I need for sulfuric acid attachments, and then we will need big electric poles. And do I just want to go straight across? I might as well. I don't need to build in a specific place. And I think the pipes, I messed up the pipes somewhere. Oh, I guess I'm just not overflowing yet. That's all it is. So soon we'll be overflowing once that gets to 20,000. So then we can just place our belts. And then we can place our big, that's a substation. They look very similar in terms of the icon. Do that. And then I'm just going to copy this and let my hardworking nanobots do the rest. This is one of those times where I could use that blueprint feature that locks it to a specific grid. I haven't played too much with that yet, so I don't know exactly how easy it is to use, but I think that would work for us here. Make sure I got all those placed underneath the trees. And there we go. So that should bring uranium ore all the way back to base, and we just finished Cobra X just in time. So our sulfuric acid is at 19,000, so soon it will start flowing. Okay, so we need to think about where to put our nuclear build. I think I'll put it down here, just to be out of the way. I do need to connect this back up to power. I think I'll want to kind of be out of the way of the base, so we'll go down here. And we just were looking at the Helmod, so let's pin that. So I'll need 5 centrifuges, which, if I remember, are very expensive. Yeah, we need concrete, lots of gears, lots of circuits, steel plates, and electric motors. Okay, so we'll grab some steel plates. We got a lot of those. We'll need a lot of electric motors. We will need... What else did I need? Concrete and gears and red circuits. So we'll take some gears here. And then we need a concrete, which I put in a 2x2 box so I can have more of it. And then red circuits, which are nicely beaconed now. I took out these extra 2 buildings. I don't even need those there anymore. But this is more than enough red circuits for my blue science. At least I believe it is. How much do these use? Yeah, only 0.75. So we'll get some more red circuits, and that should be enough for 5. Okay, and then nuclear plants. Where are those? Nuclear reactors. Okay. So I'm trying to think. We'll use probably 4 of them so we can maximize the neighbor bonuses. We might expand to like 6, 8, or 10 later, but I think 4 is a good start because that will mean each one generates 120 megawatts because it'll have a double neighbor bonus, which means 4 of them can produce 480 megawatts. So that should be plenty for now. But maybe I should just go with 6. Yeah, we'll start with 6. Because then the 2 in the middle generate 160. 2 on the sides generate 120. What does that work out to? I think that works out to 800 megawatts if we do 6. So we will need all of the circuits, copper plates, steel plates, and concrete. Okay. So I actually am going to be out of red circuits here. I think I won't have enough for 6. So let's see if I can find red circuits somewhere else. I mean, we could grab all the ones that we're using for our blue chip production. That might be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's only 1,200. No, that's only enough for 2 nuclear reactors. I think I underestimated how expensive these were going to be. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I will actually speed these up a tad. Currently, we're producing 1.75. We're going to use some module 3s here. We'll use 4 speed 3s and 4 efficiency 3s, which probably just cost me thousands and thousands of copper, but it'll produce more. And we'll make these fully efficient with our module 3s. I don't know if that's a good usage of them, but that'll get me producing a lot more. And I've run out of green circuits here. So altogether these use 3.33, so these need to produce a little bit faster. I don't have a beacon here, so we might as well get a beacon going. Place it right here. I think I caught that copper wire before it escaped. And then we'll just put module 2s in this. That should be more than enough. Yeah, 5.2, 10 stone tablets. Oh, which we only use here. Yeah, more than enough. And then I have this copper wire producing at 13. Those will use, well, it's hard to know exactly because I only need 3 of those. So we need about half of, so I don't know, half of 12, 6, 7 for those, and 6 for these, so something like 13. So I think that'll all be about equal. And that'll get us some more red circuits. But wow, 500 for nuclear reactors. I wasn't anticipating that. And then of course we'll need a gajillion steam turbines, which use electric motors and pipes and some other things. So maybe we won't be able to get all 6 firing on all cylinders right away, but we'll get there. We'll let these build up a little bit more so I can build more steam turbines. And then let's replace these with faster buildings. Yeah, I wish I had left room for a beacon here, but that should be fine. Okay, so we have our 5 centrifuges, which is the most important part to get going, because we'll need our Covarex. Let's see if we have our sulfuric acid. Looks like we're just about overflowing. I don't think we've mined any yet, though, so see if that gets going soon. Okay. So we'll need all 4 of these. Processing. 3, 4. We'll get a beacon for those. And then we will output to a belt. And we'll just simply get the uranium. Is it 238? The non-reactive kind. We'll go back here. And we will... Oh wait, this is ore. Never mind. I'm thinking of the next step. So for this, we just want to process uranium and split the 2 types. And then we need just 1 centrifuge processing, and that's without even having any speed boosts. I didn't even think about beaconing these. So this setup will be more than adequate. I can probably use mostly power reduction. In fact, maybe 1 speed will be fine. And then we need one of these. And we'll place him also in range of the beacon. Be up here. Just leave myself plenty of space. And we need to get 40 of the 235 and 5 of the 238. So then we want to... We'll do something like this, where we put into a chest with a filter inserter, and then out, back in. We'll use a simple circuit, which I don't have, I don't think. And yeah, that'll actually work fine, and then we'll just have the one that outputs onto a belt. That will be the one that has a circuit restriction. It will only output if the 238, or 235 rather, is greater than 40. I actually think I can probably do something like greater than 20, because it could just, you know, the 235 is going to be placed in here as it fills up, but just to make sure we have enough. And then that will go out for nuclear fuel processing. And then the 238 put the filters on these. The 238 will come out and it will actually just prioritize itself by going onto this belt, so it'll get used up first. And that kind of creates a little loop here, so maybe I'll figure out what to do with that. Because then that will use that 238 first. And then the 238 will go directly in. And then this is the 235, which will also go into that belt. Or that chest, because that's my 235 chest. And I think that will actually work properly, but it's been a while since I've done vanilla nuclear fuel, so we'll see if that all works. And this can be on both sides of the belt. And let's see if we're close to having sulfuric acid overflowing here. Looks like we're still not quite getting there. Well, I think maybe we actually have. Is there a disconnected pipe somewhere? They all look connected. Okay. And yet, no mining. I'm a little confused on what's happening here. Unless I'm using exactly as much as I'm producing here and it's just not filling up more. But that seems unlikely. But let's go ahead and check our production. Sulfuric. Oh, I need fluids. Well, it actually claims we've consumed more than we've produced in the last minute. So maybe that is the problem. Is that I'm just not producing enough. So let's fix that. Oh, we ran out of sulfur. That's the problem. So this is taking sulfur from... I don't actually see where the sulfur is. Oh, it's this one, because this guy's making sulfur. Oh, and he's run out of petroleum. So I actually need some more petroleum here. So we will place a beacon to both reduce the power and will speed up the petroleum. Something like that. And maybe now that will give me enough petroleum. That's what the issue was. Makes more sense now. So we'll also beacon these 3. Same configuration. And now we'll get 153 per second, which maybe will be enough. And then hopefully we can get some sulfuric acid flowing. Okay, now it looks like our sulfur is producing at full speed, though our power is quite low right now. We need 130 megawatts for what we're trying to do. And it looks like all of our sulfur got used up in our heat shielding, because heat shielding is used to make the purple science. So we used a lot of purple science for that Covarex research. So it's slowly building back up. There we go. I saw some flow out. That's perfect. Okay. Now we should see some uranium ore start to flow. And it won't need very much at all. You know, 1 sulfuric acid per ore is such a small number. So we should be getting about 3 per second. That's it, once it gets going. Okay, and then I need to make a bunch of heat turbines, or steam turbines, and heat exchangers. So 1 exchanger can consume 10 megawatts, whereas a steam turbine outputs 5.82. That is unfortunately not the nicest of ratios. So it's about 2 to 1, but not exactly. I'll just go ahead and make some heat pipes. I'll need a lot more copper plates. I have way too many stones. Get rid of those. And then we need concrete and steel plates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll craft 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Need more copper. We'll craft 2. And then we'll need our resources to build out before we can get more than that. So 2. I mean, we're just going to need a lot of these things. So I'll start crafting everything I can. I need to grab gears. Guess I can also grab some from here. One with some engines. Okay, we already have a lot of those. And then pipes. Some more copper plates. So 10 of these is 58 megawatts. We'll do another 10 to get about 100 megawatts worth. And then we'll need heat exchangers. We'll need 10 of them. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll get everything set up for 100 megawatts of usage. And if I'm not mistaken, a good strategy is to store the steam and use circuits so that you only place uranium into the nuclear reactors all at the same time, and only when your stored steam drops below a certain percentage, and then you don't waste the power from the nuclear. So we will construct all this beneath the setup so we can expand it down. I don't have any fancy blueprinted designs at the moment, but we'll have these 2 and they'll just be paired up and they'll go straight down. So we'll have the heat pipes and steam turbines go out to the left. So heat exchanger, we'll just have right next to this. Well, we'll need some space for the Covarex, so maybe we'll go something like this. 2, 3, 4, 5. So that won't be able to use all the heat. We'll want to expand that at some point so it can use all the heat, but we'll do something like that. And then that'll leave room for the nuclear fuel and circuits and all that on the sides. And then we will go into storage tanks. I wish we had the storage tanks from Angels that can hold 200,000. But these will work. And I think we'll just do this. Because let's see, if those produce 100 per second, that means 100 steam is 10 megajoules. So 1,000 steam is 100 megajoules. And 10,000 steam is a gigajoule. So each nuclear fuel can produce 80,000 steam, or 160,000 with a neighbor bonus. So we'll need storage for about 160,000 steam, which this is 125,000. So, and since we're going to use some of that power as we produce it, I'll call that good enough. It's a nice looking design for now. But once we start getting the triple neighbor bonuses, or even double neighbor bonuses, we'll need twice as much. So maybe I should start with 2. Like that. And then I've run out of resources to make the tanks. I probably need more iron plates. So this is all running effectively, looks like. That's only going to produce 1 per 10 minutes, so we may want to speed this up a little bit because it will be a while before we get this going. That would be 400 minutes. That's a little too slow for my taste. So we're not quite using all the ore that we are mining. Just checking if we're mining full-time. I mean, we are mining full-time within the power reduction that we have right now. So do I want more centrifuges, or do I want to use more power? I don't have a lot of power to spare, but these don't use that much, so we can switch. We'll switch to 2 speed 3s, and we'll use a few of the efficiency 3s to save on power. And now that produces a little bit more and can use up to 3 per second. We are going to need to store the excess of 238. I just realized. Like that. Trying to think. So we really only want to run these if we've run out of 238. So we actually maybe just, rather than going all the way around, we maybe just want to put the 238 directly into a chest. Like that. And then the output of 238 from this will go into the chest. And we really only need to run these if, I mean, for now we need to get the Covarex going, but once the Covarex is going, we really only need to run the centrifuges to produce the 238. That keeps the Covarex going. So then we want to have a limit on an inserter. And for now, we'll just say 238 is greater than 0, or I guess less than. We'll just have a huge number. But But eventually we'll change that so that this will only run once the 238 gets below a certain value, maybe 1,000. And then what that'll do is once we get up to 1,000, this will start backing up and it'll stop. And then the 238 from the output of the centrifuge will be placed in first. That'll always get placed in. And so these will only run enough to keep this at 1,000. So that should work eventually. That'll take a long time to get primed, though. We don't even have our first 235 yet. So that's a little sad. But what can we do? And then we'll place this in range of the beacon for our nuclear fuel. And then we'll also want an output of 238 going into our nuclear fuel. Something like this. And we need 10 iron plates per. So for now, I will hand feed those, which we don't have a single iron plate. Once we get logistics bots, it'll be pretty easy to just supply it that way. I think 1,000 should be enough. That's 100 nuclear fuel cells. Okay. There we go. So that will take a while, because this is only going to run... You know, I may even steal the first couple to make just a couple nuclear fuel cells to help with my power outage. And I may double this, even, because I'd like to get there faster to where this is all self-sufficient. So we still need another tank, which I didn't grab enough iron for that. And then we'll need to place our heat, or our steam turbines on both sides. Get that all prepped. We'll grab some more of those, grab some more steel. I need to get rid of this iron ore and copper ore. We need some more of these. A lot more gears. Okay. So we'll need some more heat pipes as well. Okay, so this will store up to 50,000 steam for each heat exchanger. And we will need to handle up to 80. So we'll need 8 heat exchangers. So I need 3 more for each side. 1, 2, 3. Need a lot more of these. Oops. Copy, paste. Okay. So 50,000 steam, we decided. Trying to remember. So 100 steam is 10 megawatts. So 1,000 steam, 10,000 steam is a gigawatt, or a gigajoule. So 50,000 steam is 5 gigajoules. Yeah, that's more than enough storage. Here. So then we will want the steam turbines that can use this. I'm trying to decide if I should link them all or have them all separate. I'm going to link them all because these might produce different amounts of steam. I don't know if that's horrible for UPS, but we'll go with it. And then we will... Okay, they are the same width. That's nice. So we'll do that. And then that is... How many? 8. So that's 40 megawatts of usage. For now, that's fine. We'll leave a space so we can put the power poles in between. Like that. doesn't want to go at right angles. That's fine. Okay, and then we'll copy this, turn it around, and actually flip it so that it is the same vertical distance. And we'll need a lot more of everything. So I'll just craft what I can here. I've run out of copper. We need a lot of copper for all this. And then I might as well take a look at my nuclear fuel. What I'll probably do is have requester chests that will just request one fuel cell at a time, at least when I'm at low amounts. And at the beginning, I'll just hand feed. And then we will have a circuit that will test. And we'll connect this to my inserters. Stack size needs to be 1. And then we will only insert if the condition is that the steam, I think it's regular steam, is less than in a single tank, because these will all be connected. And it should be symmetrical, so I'm not going to measure both sides. So if the steam in a single tank is less than 5,000, then we should be good to fire up the reactors. And we'll copy the settings, and that should do it. So then we'll just need nuclear fuel in those. We did get our first uranium, so we'll make 1 fuel cell. And we'll need a bunch more of our storage tanks. Looks like we need 1 more heat exchanger, 1 more turbine, and a few more heat pipes. Or no, we actually have all the turbines. I just didn't get close enough. So we just need 1 more heat exchanger. Okay. We'll grab a lot more copper. One more heat exchanger, probably 10 more pipes I think is enough. And that'll at least get me going to where my power is not constantly short. But we'll want to expand our nuclear power quite a bit more to be more efficient per nuclear fuel cell and also be able to handle ridiculous amounts. I don't want to have to worry about efficiency modules and everything. I'd rather just beacon things for speed. So, and I think in the long run, beaconing things for speed is actually more efficient because you don't need as many module 3s total. And so you save a lot of copper by having less buildings with module 3s in them. It looks like I'm still short 4 of these. Or I guess just 3. Okay, so I think this will work. We'll see. It's been a while since I've done vanilla. Nope, okay. Didn't attach these either. There we go. And we've got 8 times 6 is about 50 and 50. So this will produce a maximum of about 100 megawatts. Excuse me. Even though the nuclear reactors will be able to produce 160 megawatts, all the extra production will be stored in steam. Because let's think. I can produce 8 plus 8 times 2, so 32 gigajoules with 1 nuclear fuel in each. And we said that each of these is 2.5 gigajoules, if I remember correctly. So 2.5 times 32. So we can store more than enough currently. Oh dear. It happened. A meteor did some damage. Thankfully, it only destroyed one or two, and the rest are still surviving. So I can go over and fix that at some point. Let's see if we've got... Oh, I did the math completely wrong because I was under the assumption you only got one fuel cell from a uranium-235. That's right, you get 10. Beautiful. Okay, so Kovarex is going to take forever to fire up, but this 10 fuel cells should last me quite a while, actually. So I love it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's right. I remember dealing with this a while back. Because of the delay in getting the steam generated, also I completely forgot about water. That's silly of me. Because of the delay in getting steam generated, you actually want to insert one and then wait a long time before you even think about inserting another one. And I'll have to play with the combinator settings. There's some sort of latch where you can set it to where it'll insert one and then it'll turn off until the steam gets above a certain point, and then it turns back on, and then when the steam drops below a certain point, then it will insert one more and immediately flip back. And I'll have to do some research into how that all works again. But for now, we'll just manually take out the fuel and we'll feed it in before we figure out combinator settings, because I don't want to waste these 8 fuel cells. They're valuable. Okay, so temperature's heating up. Looks like we're at 160. I can't remember what temperature you have to be at to start working. I guess it's higher than 165. Oh, it says minimum temperature is 500 degrees. I see. Okay, so that'll take a minute to get there. Awesome. Okay, well that's all running. In between episodes, we might build a couple more of my nuclear reactors and the other pieces to continue making the design more efficient. We still haven't even gotten a second 235. So that will take quite a while before we have enough for Kovarex. Looks like we're actually using all of our sulfur. But this is filled up completely, so that's nice. We have enough for all of our uranium mining. So we have nuclear power checked off. It's not beautiful, but it works. And then let's look at meteor defense real quick. So I will need batteries, processing units, cables, and some other stuff we have plenty of. So I think I'm going to get 3 of these produced. 80% accuracy, can shoot 1 meteor at a time. So oftentimes there's just 1 or 2 meteors. So I think 3 will be enough to protect from most meteor attacks. And so we need to grab some processing units and some batteries, which I think I have in a chest. Yep. And then we need copper cables, which I actually don't know if I have in a chest anywhere. So we may just need to do some farming from a belt, like right here. So we just need 300, and then we'll need 300 concrete and some glass. There we go. And then meteor defense ammo, for now, I'll just handcraft. Need some more green circuits. And we need more batteries and steel plates for those. We'll handcraft 30. That should be enough for now. And then I can place these anywhere since they cover the whole planet, so might as well place them out of the way. I don't want them to be in the way of future smelting, although I don't know if I'll put future smelting here. I might put it more out of the way, but We'll go with this area by the nuclear power. 1, 2, 3. And I'll have to power these. Draws 20 megawatts while recharging. Wonderful. That's exactly what I need. Well, once they charge, we should be okay. And once we have the nuclear power going, which it should be close, I hope. Oh, interesting. So 1 nuclear fuel was not enough to get those to 500 degrees. But they should be there soon. I'm sure I'll use it, so I'll just drop it in 2 more fuel cells. And then I will feed... Well, we'll feed the ammo in a second. Once we have finished crafting it. Okay. We should be close. 475. I'm very excited for this. It's going to be very satisfying to see our power finally satisfied. Wait, did I just see minimum consumption is 5 megawatts? Is that what it said? Max consumption, 5 megawatts. Well, that's not really true. They're drawing much more than 5 megawatts right now, but... Okay, we have begun generating power with nuclear. That's awesome. Feels very good. So we'll slowly see our production ramp up here. Oh yeah, and we need to get rid of the used fuel cells. So we'll do that in some sort of passive or active provider chest, and we'll request them. I'm trying to remember what the fuel cells end up doing. Oh, we just process it back into just a few 238. Basically useless. We could almost just destroy them just as easily. Or just put them in a chest. They stack to 50. But, alright, we're up to 150 megawatts almost. This is great. I love seeing it work. So we'll actually put in 2 more just to make sure we have enough for now to fill up these steam tanks. We should be seeing more. I'm a little confused on why it's bottomed out at 540 degrees. Oh, can I just not do math? Oh, I didn't do something on this side correctly. These are not producing any power. I didn't connect these 2 power lines. That is a simple solution. There we go. So maybe I do need to connect the circuits here, because now we have imbalance. So we'll do that. Maybe I should connect the steam or something. But for now, that's fine. And there we go. We finally have enough power to give my base all the things at once. And it looks like my meteor defenses are charged up. So they... Okay, so they use 5 megawatts just sitting there. So I don't want to... Maybe I don't want 3? Do I only want 2? The problem with 2 is that if 2 meteors come, there's a decent chance I miss one of them. So I think I'd rather have 3. And they'll each have 10 ammo for now. And each time some meteors strike, I can just craft 3 more of these, because I'm assuming they'll take 3 shots. I don't know if it works like one takes a shot and then it sees if it misses, then another takes a shot. So I may only use 1 or 2 ammo, depending on how that all works. Okay, so I think that's a good end for the episode. I accomplished meteor defense and nuclear power. And in between episodes, I'll work on getting our centrifuges going a little faster so that we can get to Kovarex sooner. and I may craft a few more nuclear reactors, and then I may beacon and module a few more things in the ever striving for maximum efficiency and productivity. But other than that, in the next episode, we hope to get going on blue belts, utility science, and hopefully logistics robots, though the utility science may take a while, so we'll see. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Let me know what you think in the comments.